I think the thing that fascinates me about the Royals is that it's the fairy tale come to life. You know, we grow up with Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast and all of these stories as children. And then most of our lives feel very, normal and ordinary. But with the royal family and with the royals, it's like the fairy tale. They live in a castle, they travel all over the world, they wear tiaras. I mean, how often do you get to wear a tiara? And I think that fascinates me. And also, I'm American, and we have some strange fascination with British things from probably dating back to the American Revolution. The most important research that I generally do is that I travel to wherever I'm writing. If I'm writing about a real place, I try to go there. Even if I'm going to fictionalize it and make fictional places within the world, I still want to get a sense of just little things that I can add in that make it feel like a more realistic world. So that's like the first thing I do. And then I just kind of have fun with it from there. I pick out photos of who I visualize as the characters, and if I'm going to be writing something plot specific that requires me to know about a certain medical diagnosis, or with my new series, I needed to know something about the American military. So I will spend hours and hours and hours doing tons of research. Very, very little of it makes it into the book, but it's important to me because it helps me make it feel more like a real world. So I hope that translates to readers without getting boring. I was, in terms of a character that holds a special place in my heart, I have to say that all of my male characters do. Don't tell my husband. Actually, he knows this. Because I always have a moment when I'm writing where I have a very strong reaction. And I never know when it's going to happen in a book, like if it's a new character, where I actually feel that I've fallen in love with the man that I'm writing. And I will actually tell my husband this. I will come home and say, it happened, I'm in love. And he's like, oh, good. Because he knows that's what I need for it to feel real to me. But because I need that level of connection to those characters, they are so important to me. And when I'm making their lives hard or doing something that hurts them, I feel very guilty. I struggle with it. I cry. So all of those male characters are very important to me. And every single one of them has a teeny, teeny, tiny bit of my husband in them. Like none of them are him, but there's always some personality trait that kind of sneaks in. So I think that's probably how I'm able to fall in love with him, right? A lot of world building takes place before I start writing. With the Royal Saga, I really had to go in and figure out, where are they living in London? Where did they go to school? What's the name of the hotel? Where is her flat? Where do they go to dinner? And so a lot of that had to take place, but then also a lot of those secondary characters that just kind of come in and out of the story. We had to know enough about them. And so I kind of build out the world, and then I put my characters in it and I let them do what they're going to do. So they are very, I will think we're going this direction, and they're like, no, we're not. We're going that direction. But they're in their own world, and I think that helps them navigate whatever it is that's going to happen in the plot. Well, my next project, I just finished up book 3 of what I titled in English, The Rival Saga. I don't know if that title is going to stick in Germany yet. I know that it's supposed to come out next fall. It is sort of a enemies to lovers, but it's lovers to enemies to lovers again. So it's actually, I took the concept, I was thinking about The Great Gatsby and how Jay Gatsby goes off and amasses this fortune to come back and win Daisy. And I was like, what if he hadn't done that and he just went off to amass a fortune and come back and ruin her life and her family's life because she broke his heart. And so that was the entire premise of it. This man comes back on the day of the love of his life's father's funeral, and he's secretly bought most of her family's company and is planning to make her life hell. And so it goes back and forth between when they first met and what happened in that relationship and how things fell apart and where he went and where she went. And then they come back together as they're discovering sort of all of these twists about their family and their friends. And I don't know, it's epic. Like there's no other way to describe it. It's the longest book series I've ever written. It's just epic in scope, and I'm so obsessed. Ooh, what do I like to read in my free time? I read a lot of things in my free time. I read a lot of nonfiction, especially when I'm writing. That can be anything from business books or writing books. I love to read books about the writing craft. I always feel there's something I can learn from other writers about how they approach storytelling. But then I love to read history books. I always find that I'm really inspired by history, and it gives me lots of ideas in how I describe things, but also just plot ideas. And then in terms of fiction, it just really it depends on my mood. It's what catches my eye, what sounds really interesting to me at the time. I read my friends' books. I really love fantasy sort of, I don't know how to describe it exactly. I love vampire novels, but very specific vampire novels. Like I really love the Discovery of Witches series, the All Souls trilogy. That is like my jam. But I came out of academics, so of course I love a witch and a vampire or a professors in Oxford, right? But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite series. Court of Thorn and Roses is another one. Like I just really, they're so different than what I write, so it's a really great escape for me to get to go into those worlds.